SIMRA stands for Supporting the Integration of Migrant Women, Refugees and Asylum Seekers. A lot of them have no choice. We're not talking about people who are coming here just to get benefits and to scrounge off society. These are people who had middle-class thriving lives before they left their country and had no reason to come to this country for, £60 of benefits. To be in that camp under those conditions day after day in the cold, living in a tent and just waiting on relief from volunteers like ourselves, you wouldn't do that unless you really had to.
But all the lies that you hear on the TV that refugees are this, they're dirty, they're this. But when you actually go there on the front line and you actually see things for yourself, it just makes your eyes wide open and you think, wow, they're not like what you think they were.
So the women collected items and valuable stuff that's needed in refugee camps across the EU. On warehouse day, you could have volunteers that have come from all over the UK and the rest of the European countries. And we all arrive, we don't know each other, and we have to work as a team.
Everybody's working, everyone's like machines, and there was all diverse people there.
We came across a Brazilian woman who'd come over from Brazil to do some refugee relief. And she was joined by her daughter who actually lived in Sweden.
This lady came from California. I had a little discussion with her and I said, you came all the way from California to Calais to help. She was I heard about it and I thought, I need to help. So she was there.
It's amazing how people can just come together with a focus without even knowing each other, but are committed to making a change. When we're at camp, we go through a drill so we know exactly what we're going to be doing and how we're going to distribute items. I chose to go to Dunkirk, which is what's called the jungle in Calais.
And they have about up to 600-700 migrants that come.
When we distribute items, we make sure there's an orderly fashion. We form a human queue so that all the refugees and asylum seekers have an equal opportunity to get refugee relief.
There was a lady pregnant, and she was 6 months pregnant, Iranian woman. She was there in the camp with her husband.
It was very sad because she's living in a refugee camp, so she's literally camping in a tent in what's called the jungle in Calais. Most of them, I would say, are educated people who had thriving lives beforehand, before whatever crisis happened in their country. I saw a picture of a bodybuilder.
He was a former bodybuilder, but then when I looked at him, he was thin, he was skinny.
He was a shadow of the person that he was when he showed us the pictures of what he did before.
It just saddens me that people like that had a life back home.
His arm was broken and he said that it was the local authorities that had beaten him. The persecution in Calais itself is just as bad as what they fled.
I can tell you, every single man, they were gentle, they were polite, they had smiles on their faces, even though what they're going through every day. And I looked at every single one, and they weren't horrible men, they weren't looking at you in the wrong way, they were nice, polite gentlemen.
I mean, the reason why we joined Care for Calais is because they use all the resources that they can in actually supporting refugees and migrants in Calais. And when I say all the resources, there are very few paid workers. They organise the delivery of goods and the distribution of goods by volunteers like ourselves. All of it's led by volunteers. And they do this every single day apart from Christmas Day.
Refugees are going to put something back into the country. They will give you something back. These are not just refugees that do the low job. These are professionals. They were doctors, lawyers, they were engineers. They can give something back to the UK.
So we're going to continue providing support services for migrant women, and what we aim to do is provide a regular drop-in session for migrant women. They can get support with language, employability skills, support with health and well-being, as well as educational support as well. This is really, really important in terms of their integration into the wider society, but also helping them to realise their potential once they're here.